6.
Year 6, Coach.
Year 6.
And I'm tell you what, if you want to see how a program is rebuilt step by step, this man got the playbook right here. Coach Johnson took over a team that didn't win a game, 3 years almost?
Yeah, it was a long time.
And then, we look at the coach like, you sure you want to do this? But Coach jumped in and hit the ground running, man. Just tell us a little bit about where you started from and where you at now.
Well, you said you didn't know if I should take the job. My wife didn't either, and there were some sleepless nights. I woke up and that first year multiple times wondering what I did to myself, and then but over time you develop your culture, you get your guys bought into the system. We've also been blessed with some good athletes and good guys come through the program. But you got to work extremely hard in your middle schools. You got to get into your elementary schools, and I always say not recruit anybody else but your own. I mean, you have to at this point. Kids in your address and that are supposed to come to you. You've got to really do a good job of reaching out and developing relationships and making sure those guys that are supposed to come.
Man, so to follow up on that too, you talk about your middle school program. It's when you came to us and tell us about the idea of doing your signing day.
Yeah.
And with your middle school kids and how big of an impact that was. One, how impressive has that been? Two, how does it feel to see a lot of schools duplicate what you've done?
Yeah. Well, I think we're all copycats. When we find out something is good, and fun, we do that, and copy that in other people's programs and stuff. And obviously it's a thrill to me to see other people catch on to that. But that's been a real big thing for us, and those kids really look forward to that. And I mean, I'm getting texts from middle school coaches going, when's your signing day? All my kids are asking. So, but everybody's got their own flair to it and what they do to it now. But we really put a lot of emphasis and a lot of effort into really reaching out to all the kids that should be coming to us and trying to find those guys.
All right, Coach. Now we're looking for another district championship. It will be 4 in a row, right? So, Coach, man, we're losing Cole Collins, big player. Made a lot of plays.
No, let's not forget you got Noah Chapman gone. That shit, And then Jacoby Bickerstaff. I mean, that's big. Coach big. There's a lot of key seniors you're losing.
Yes, and but we lose a lot of key seniors every year, and I think that's kind of what I tell people. I think after the 2019 season, when we were district runner-up at Tate's Creek, who went on to finish in the Final Four and lose to Mail, I heard, well, you're losing a lot of seniors. And then the next year we were in the Final Four. Yeah. And then, hey, Coach, you're losing a lot of seniors. And next year we're in the regional championship. Coach, you're losing a lot of seniors. So I hear that, every year. Yes, but we have guys waiting in the wings. And I think that this day and age is very tough to do that, with the college game, you get the transfer portal. If they're not playing immediately, they'll transfer. With us,
too far from the high school.
We're getting real close to that. Sure. Yeah, we're real close to that. So that's another whole other conversation. But I think our guys that are going to plug in, Ethan Teal did start for us last year for 4 or 5 games. And with an injury, had to move Cole over, and of course we lost our tailback last year before the season started. So there's a lot of rotating parts last year that we had to really kind of figure out who we were going to be and how we were going to play and how we were going to get first downs. And I think, this year, Jacoby Biggerstaff's gone, but Trey Berry is that number 1 guy. We have another kid that stepped up. Noe Kimbe is stepping up on the other side. So, and he didn't really get in a lot last year because we were so loaded at receiver the last few years. And we're really excited about those guys. Got a new sophomore in that really has done a great job over the winter and is really impressive, and Ryan Barrett. So, we've got the pieces in place to have a really, really good offense.
Now, that's one thing, and I think a lot of people don't know except the inside people. Last year, the expectations were really high, and you had a lot of injuries on top of, starting with a schedule that I think you felt like you had the team for that schedule if you were full strength.
Sure.
But you had Teal went down, you lost players in 7-on-7, and you were literally scrambling. Like Cole ended up, you were gonna be, I think he was gonna be running back.
Yeah.
But now he ended up going from running back to receiver to quarterback and doing everything.
Yeah.
So just kind of tell us just exactly how you were able to keep that going and still win a district title last season.
Well, and I know it's a lot of coach speak, but you say next man up, next person, and you really, over the years, and I always tell my guys this, I can't really go back to a game where I feel like I had every single person. Every year we've had missing guys in games, and I always tell the story of my second year at Dunbar, and we were trying to go for the first winning season since 2013 or something, and we went into the Bryan Station game, and I had 9 guys out.
Oh, wow.
And we had my defensive end was playing linebacker. I had my corner playing safety. I mean, I had people everywhere, and we were down 21-0 at the half.
Whew.
And a lot of the guys were arguing with each other on the field. Hey, you're not doing this, not doing that. And I came in at halftime. I'm like, hey guys, we got 7 guys playing new positions. Relax, just go play ball. And and we ended up scoring 37 points in the second half.
Oh man.
Winning that game and securing the first winning season in Dunbar since who knows when. But I think I used that game because we just had to plug guys in, and ever since then, it's just been one of those things where you never really have a full 100% strength. I don't think I've never had it. It's always somebody missing or somebody sick or something going on. So we've done really just over the last 6 years. Just a lot of next man up, and we expect you to do your job and go out there and perform.
Now, the offense was kind of put together with tape and glue and bubble gum, but it did its thing. Now that defense, on the defensive side, you lose Mason Hazler, who's probably one of the best players in the state, if I say. Yeah. But you got Colton Charlton back, and you got my guy Lee Quan Greer, which we coach, an old former Duck. You got that guy and a couple other young kids back. What do you expect out of this defense and those young men?
I'm really excited about the defense, to be honest. I feel like we probably are faster than we've ever been in every position. I think we're more physical in the secondary than we've ever been. I think we've got some guys that are coming in new positions that are going to play that are really going to surprise a lot of people. When you guys hopefully come to do one of our games, you're going to be surprised at these names that are popping out of your screen and who people who are starting. But I think they bring a physicality that we haven't had in the past. Kind of another edge and attitude. Laquan is going to be a junior this year, and he started as a sophomore last year for us, and he's going to be great. We got Moses Mafata, we have Ethan Hampton, we have Aiden Davis, we have Logan Pittman, who's a great baseball player, and I've had to work around his baseball schedule this summer, but I'm fine with that because he's a great football player. So, have Amonte Flynn, who's going to be a sophomore, who adds a lot of speed on both sides of the ball, play free safety for us, play a little wide receiver for us. So we have some really good pieces and that have really been in a system a long time.
Yes,
so our guys really know their run fits, they know where to go. We're a little undersized at linebacker, but they're tough as nails. Okay. I was telling him, Colton Turlington, the story on him, his freshman year, and that was the COVID year.
Yes, sir, yeah.
So I had all the guys send their workouts in via video. They had to prove that they were working out.
Yes, sir, yeah.
And he sends his video in, and he's doing pull-ups in a barn in the rafters of the barn.
Like he's been fighting for Russia, right?
I said, we're set for the next 4 years. I said, we're good. So this guy will be inside linebacker for us, and he started last year and did a great job. Really physical kid, and his dad was a bull rider in a rodeo, and he's wanting to do the same types of thing in a rodeo. So he's fearless.
Just wait till the season's over with, and you have that.
Right, exactly.
All right, Coach. So now looking at this upcoming schedule this season, you start off, you got Southwestern, and we got Connor, Mercer, Collins, Shelby County, Boone County, Simon Kenton, Taste Creek, we get into our city schools and district, Taste Creek, Henry Clay, Lafayette, and then you end with Eastern, Coach. Just kind of tell us about this schedule and what's your expectations for the team this season?
Right. So, this year I had to schedule a little bit better. I felt like last year or last few years, I've really been super heavy in the beginning. But I felt like I had experience and leadership that I felt like even if we were 1-4, which we were both times, that we could really get it together and learn a lot from those games and put that together in the second half of the schedule. And that's what happened. We really bounced back, had a great second half both years, and this past year we were very competitive in those games. Even though they were excellent football teams that we were playing. This year I felt like we are bringing back a lot of juniors and seniors, but not necessarily have the experience that we've had before. And so I think that we needed to play, not that any of these teams are down teams, but teams a little bit where I'm not worried about how bad we're going to get beat. Some of those games, realistically, as a coach, you're thinking, we probably have a good chance of losing this game. I just don't want to lose a lot of players. I don't want to have it be a shot in our confidence. And so we have good travel in Northern Kentucky on this schedule. Play a lot of good Northern Kentucky teams. Northern Kentucky football is always a hard-hitting, group of guys. I always enjoy going up there.
Usually those are the teams we see in the playoffs anyway.
Right. Yeah. Simon Kenton, we have a great chance to see in the playoffs down the road. Mercer County is a bowl game with Woodford. Woodford is playing Simon Kenton, I think, and we're playing Mercer. And that's going to be a fun atmosphere because, there's going to be a lot of crowd and just a lot of fun for our players. So, and we play Woodford next year, but play Mercer this year. And, I know Coach Yeast, and Donald Wayne Smith and all those guys over there I know very well, and we're good friends. The interesting one is Eastern at the end of the year. My father-in-law was the AD and basketball coach over there for years. And we scheduled them just to get that group back together. My wife went to Eastern, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law coached Ray John Rondo when he was there at Eastern. So, we have a little bit of ties, and that's a little meaningful game for us. So that'll be senior night for us, this year, and of course go up there next year. So, I feel like it's a good, really mix. Bryson Warner down in Boone County, he's a good friend of mine. We played a few years ago and then couldn't play because of COVID. Had to cancel the game and wanted to get that little rivalry going again because way back in the day, Boone and Dunbar.
All the city schools in Boone County. Coach, you start having nightmares and trauma. Don't
we beat Boone County 34-0. Then they cheated us here to go to the state championship. That's
he got some trauma.
It was rigged, Coach. I'm sorry. I apologize. I brought back bad memories, Coach.
I got you. It's all good. But so that's, I feel like really good about the schedule. I'm excited about seeing our guys, get it going.
Yeah, with this schedule, like I said, everybody's changed it up a lot. Are you going to miss all the city teams, like the Station and the Dunbar? You going to miss? Station and Douglas.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss playing those teams?
Well, we will probably play one of the two of them.
Playoffs.
And it's always been ever since I started coaching, it's always been my philosophy not to play anybody that I would play in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. If I can avoid playing those guys, I want them to play us one time. I don't want them to have a game in the season. And then in my first years at Dunbar, I had no choice because we had to play all the city schools. So it didn't matter. I could play Bryan Station in week 10 and come back, and it happened. Where we played them once, and then 2 weeks later played them again.
But you beat us, Coach. I'm just saying, you did beat us. It was in your favor, so.
I know. Well, it couldn't be that time, but
I did pick them too.
Coach did beat it. Broke my heart too. That's a heck of a game.
So we would face, Douglas or Bryan Station in the first 2 rounds. So we still have that, and we'll have the city rivalry, and it'll mean something. Winner goes home, and loser goes home, winner goes on, and so it's all good there. But that's kind of the thought process behind it.
But I'll tell you, we love those games, though. Like you said, even though they might be back to back, all those games have been competitive.
Yeah.
I'll be competitive.
been
See
a
the
fun.
Station Dunbar game.
Now, as you get ready for this scheduling this season, is there one thing that's kind of troubling you as you get ready for the season?
Well, I think depth, and I think maybe I echo many schools across the city. As in, I feel like I'm very confident in our starting 22.
Yes,
I think, if we lose our quarterback, I think we're in a world of trouble. If we lose a couple of guys on the offensive line, we're in a world of trouble. But I don't know anybody else besides, I think right now, Station's got a lot of guys. Douglas obviously has a lot of guys. Besides those two, I don't know anybody else that could survive a few losses.
So what are your numbers this year?
So we're hovering around 75 or 80 like we always do. But we're heavy in the young kids right now. Because I was telling them, I said, in our COVID year, this senior class is our COVID class.
Okay, gotcha.
And for some reason, we just didn't get them. They didn't come out in droves. We've averaged 23 seniors the last 4 years. This class has 13.
Man,
so we're about 10 seniors less on this class, which creates more sophomore opportunities to play. Which we have some talented sophomores, and they'll get in the game. But in the past 3 years, we haven't hardly played any freshmen or sophomores. So we've been very selective.
Good,
Yeah.
So I'm asking a question then. I will hold you up for long, but
No.
so even with the success you've had over the years, you still feel like it's hard to get kids in the school to come out. Trying to get kids student body. I know you walk through the thing, you see a kid probably like me, doing the dance team or something. Like, man, you come out and play football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still hard to get kids to come out.
It is. And to be honest, I'm going to just be very transparent. There's not a whole lot of kids walking around Dunbar that could play football that are not playing. I think that, if they could play, they don't want to because they don't care about the grades and they don't want the discipline, so they just decide not to do it. But I think that everybody that possibly could help me, there's very few in the school that are not out playing. And I think that's been a big success. And part of our success here the last 6 years is that we've really, I've really pulled those baseball guys in.
That's good.
We got some great athletes that play baseball. They just needed somebody to work with them for the offseason
stuff.
because they're still playing baseball. They play baseball feels like till November. But if you it's funny. Dave Buchanan is a good friend of mine. I don't know, you know Dave Buchanan?
Yeah.
And he said, at one point he had this policy at Mason County that if you're not there on July 15th, you're not playing football. Well, then along came Chris Lofton. And so, Chris said, well, I got a Tennessee basketball all-star game, and I can't come until August. And Dave said he changed his whole mind. He said, you know what, we'll see you August 1, and that was into that whole thing. So, when you got those talented players and you got those guys, you got to work with it because that's going to help you win. So
now, also, I'm pretty sure this new venture you have, the recovery, that's got to help, though.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife is a nurse practitioner. We started. It's kind of been in the year in the making. I just actually came from there myself. It's a wellness lounge and athlete recovery lounge. So we have pro soccer players in there. We had I think probably 12 out of the 16 girls teams come in. We do a great job in recovering athletes to help them be able to be 100% the next day to continue their grind. It's not a place necessarily of, hey, you're injured, come.
Yes, sir.
Though we can do that. But it's more of what you see these pro athletes do. They
take care of the body.
There's a lot of money on the line for them to be able to come out the next day and practice and play. I told our guys today, the whole, remember the movie The Program where he goes out and he asks the player on the field if he's hurt or injured. And, we kind of went through that talk today. Sometimes some of you guys are hurt.
Yeah.
And you got to know the difference between being hurt and injured. And if you're hurt and on the sideline, guess what? You drop down the depth chart.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to kind of figure out how to go out there and play with some
But through the hurt. Yeah.
I remember when I first started playing football, my high school coach, the first day of camp, he was like, enjoy this feeling because it's the best you're going to feel for the rest of the season.
Right, exactly.
And
That's
that's basically the journey you go through.
That's right.
Yeah.
A ton of truth to that. Yeah.
It is.
Good.
Well, Coach B, you got anything else?
Nah, man. It's always a pleasure to meet Coach Johnson and have him out, man. I'm telling you, like I said, you what you've done at Dunbar has been remarkable. You know, I'm a defender. I still like you, Coach. You still
You know one of our first interviews, man. When we first got the Coach first got the job, we interviewed Mike.
And I'm telling you, part of the job, we looking like, why this man taking his job? Stay in Nicholsville. No, nobody weird here, but you know, it's good to see what you and the administration have done together and the success you've had on the bench. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of hard work, but that's the reward, you know.
That's why I love my coach now. I got your back, Coach. Doing big things this season.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch this past video, but you say you love Coach McKee. Now, who is it?
Coach, I got my coach, man. This my coach. We right here. That's my coach.
I
Dunbar Bulldog, baby.
I apologize, Coach. Thank you, Coach Johnson, for joining us.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.